What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Waaktaar and Zoe, and we're returning to World of Trouble 2017, and the next track is amusingly titled Laundromat. So, people will be familiar with this type of establishment. It is a place where people can launder their clothes and where there are enough washer-dryer installations that many loads of laundry can be done at once. I suppose there's two different kinds. There's a commercial laundromat, a place, a store where you go to pay for the ability to do your laundry. There's also communal laundromats in apartment complexes like the one I live in, though I should say not the one I live in now, but my previous apartment complex had several laundromats spread around the complex, so depending on what building you're in, you would go to a specific one. Thankfully, my apartment complex now has its own washer and dryer unit. But yes, these are places, and I suppose there is a bit of a socioeconomic indicator in the very concept, meaning most people who own their own homes will have their own washer and dryer, and the idea of going to like a coin-op laundromat isn't something that people in the upper middle class or above economic tiers typically do, unless they're engaging in some type of, socioeconomic tourism. Nevertheless, the point is, I feel like there is a suggestion that people who go to laundromats are on a more, maybe not necessarily the lowest level, but certainly not at the highest levels of the socioeconomic pyramid. So yeah, that's what jumps out to me. It is a single word title. Those do tend to be tougher to get a read on. It could literally just be the location for some narrative or even a singular scene, though perhaps probably a prominent one in a larger narrative, meaning if it's a narrative that takes place in a bunch of different locations, there might be a specific reason to highlight whatever part of it takes place at a laundromat. It could, of course, be a metaphor, some figurative meaning where you are laundering emotions or situations and trying to come out clean at the end of it. So I feel like you could take it to a more conceptual realm. If I had to guess, I would say it's a physical location for a particular scene. Let's see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Waaktaar and Zoe. The track is Laundromat, and it's from their 2017 album World of Trouble. Whoa. I like that buzzy drone.
Love in a laundromat, in a laundromat. Feet on the welcome mat, on the welcome mat. Never really see it coming. to bring when you come to our house, have a friend. Love could be moments away on a beautiful day. It could flow through the tube of the pen. Love is a wonderful thing. It's so easy to bring when you come to our house, have a friend. Love is an ache in the heart. We sometimes spend apart, and you're thinking it's come to an end. Love is a wonderful thing. Love is so easy to bring. Easy to bring.
Crazy. So yeah, sonically, that's a really dynamic tune, meaning we've got a lot of electric grit, both that buzzy drone at the bottom of the track and that, I don't even know exactly what to call it, and like, it reminds me of the type of sounds you'd hear in more modern pop tunes, which, again, it makes sense. This is almost 10 years ago now, but it's later than a lot of songs I've heard Paul write, meaning whether from Aha or Savoy, where, you know, most of their catalog is before 2017. Not all of it, of course, in both cases, but ultimately it just has a more modern, like, pop tune on the radio type of sound, and there's that electronic synth which has a bit of depth to it, a bit of, like, wicked twist to it. There was a moment where I tried to mimic it, and that element I thought was very compelling too, but there is also some guitar work in there and some moments where it feels not as modern as a couple of those electronic elements. Now, to be fair, there's songs in the Savoy catalog where it's like, it's part pop rock, but there's a bit of an electronic, like, keyboard sound to it too. But the blending of those two sides of the musical arsenal or repertoire felt a bit different in this one, and as I said, a bit more modern, even if it is, you know, now 8 years past. Nevertheless, the lyrics I'm intrigued by, because on one level, I do think we had a mentioning of a laundromat, but it seemed to be about much more than that, and about interpersonal feelings and maybe love specifically, but we did get a reference to, like, an empty room within an empty room in an empty house or something like that. And of course, like a laundromat, it's not a room where people hang out. It's, you know, you start your load, you go do other things, you come back later. It's a room that is typically devoid of people, empty. But I did wonder also whether the concept of laundromat is working on that conceptual level of, you know, you go through a tumble cycle, you rinse yourself clean, and then you are clean on the other side of that in a way that you weren't at the beginning. But okay, so we're making reference to love as a wonderful thing, so the emotions it can bring, but then also, like, saying, what was the next line, that, like, love can be a pain in the heart, and something about being apart. Now that can be, like, you know, if you're in a loving relationship but there's distance, you know, you can feel that distance acutely, but then there's that line about this being the end, and so then I was thinking, well, maybe the apart is, you know, separation, breaking up, and that feeling being, you know, that twinge in the heart being like, okay, there's still love there, but it didn't work out, and therefore that twinge isn't so much longing for someone who's away on a vacation or, you know, living apart and so on. It could be more about, you know, the feeling that there's residual love, but you know the reality of the situation, so it's a pain in your heart. And what was the other line about, like, you know, like a day in the sun or something like that? And there was that reference to waking up later in the day. So I feel like there is some metaphor at foot here as it relates to love, the feelings it can give you, the specific dynamics, and again, like coming to someone's house or something like that. It feels like this could all be operating on a metaphorical level, though it certainly gives you some images on a more literal and visual scale. So yes, I don't really know what's happening other than maybe issuing commentary on the process, the cycle, the duration of love from beginning, middle, and end, or from the beginning to the middle and then the end. So yeah, I'll look forward to hearing what people have to say about this one. But as I said, I enjoy the grittier electronic sonics of this one, which really did stand out to me. So another cool tune. I do notice there was one moment in particular where she sort of dropped her voice down. She started the line, and then the way she finished the words was like she went really deep into like her chest voice or something. So there was some like vocal delivery, I don't want to say playfulness, but definitely she was toying with some of her vocal stylings like in real time, like over the course of the single line. So I enjoyed that as well. Do let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.